When it comes to making a negative FromSoftware video, you know that the hate that you're about to get will be abundant. And for me personally, I actually welcome it because you're proving my point of what I'm about to say. When you say Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Sekiro now sucks, there should be an easy mode. You know what everyone tells you? They tell you to
get good. You're just bad at video games.
And I'm sure those type of people speak in that specific type of voice. You know how many times I've ever played a video game and I said to myself, hey man, I don't want you to be able to play this game. This game is reserved for the most hardcore players. And if you can't beat it, sorry. You know where else I saw this mentality? And you'll see a theme of me mentioning Destiny in my videos a lot. And that's because that just tells you how big of a fan I was of the game. One of the things I had noticed on the subreddit on Reddit every single time with Destiny though is that with each expansion, the player base wanted to be more and more rewarded for their hardcoreism. Because they spent so much time in this game more than your casual player. They wanted the threshold for you to be able to play a raid to be far exceeding what anyone entering the game would be able to do. If you got 1 hour a day to play, you're pretty much screwed. Because by the time you get ready to raid, everyone's going to be max level. They're going to be expecting 10 plus clears on their run. And that's essentially what the mentality of the Sekiro, the whole FromSoftware fans are. They don't want to welcome new people in. They want to push the next game even farther on the skill count, that it's not going to welcome any new players. And it's ironic because this is exactly what happened with Destiny Forsaken. Destiny Forsaken, if you don't know, Activision straight up came out and said that they didn't bring in any new players. The same people who bought Forsaken were the ones who were already playing Destiny. Not even the casual players. No, the hardcore players are the one that kept on playing that game. And that's what these types of games, Sekiro, Bloodborne, that's what these types of games do. They're not bringing in any new players. You want to know some actual facts about this too? Dark Souls 3 to date has sold 3 million copies. Bloodborne released on PS4 exclusively. To date, it sold 2 million copies, but we're not talking about to date. In the time frame we're talking about, it sold 1 million copies in like the first month, I think, something like that. So you see the trend of it starting with 3 million with Dark Souls 3, 2 million with Bloodborne, though technically 1 million where we're speaking. And then we go to Sekiro. You know how many copies Sekiro sold on the PlayStation 4? 800,000. Because if we do the math, PC had 100,000 concurrent players. If you don't know, that's 100,000 people playing at any given time. Give 100,000 to the Xbox. That's 200,000 players. You can go search. There was a news article that said 80% of the player base is on PlayStation. That means if 100,000 people are on PC, then that means 800,000 people are on PS4. Why do these stats matter? Well, it's quite simple, really. Bloodborne sold 1 million copies. Sekiro on the PlayStation 4 sold 800,000 copies. So that means that Sekiro sold 200,000 less. And that's the thing. I'll give you your own argument here before you even make it.
Sekiro, it's for all consoles. PS4 only had Bloodborne.
And sure, there you go. There's your argument right there. This is a multi-console release, multi-platform release. Bloodborne was only on one. The point that I was talking about with Destiny not bringing in any new players, sure, you can say that Sekiro is multi-platform and it sold 1 million copies, so it still matched what it sold. But the point I was making is that it didn't bring in any new players. Any way you slice it, the sales of this game will be about 1 million. But even with those numbers, it still only matched what Bloodborne sold. So these games, as you see by the numbers, they are constantly going down. You want even further proof? Sekiro released like 2 weeks ago, right? It released at number 1. Good for it. Most games that come out today that are AAA releases release at number 1. No surprise there. What happened the next week though? A Yoshi game, I think. Some Switch game came out. I think it was a Yoshi game, Yoshi's World. I don't know. Whatever it is, it took the number 1 spot. And that's to be, again, that's to be expected, a AAA game. What happened with the number 2 spot? The Division 2 came out 3 or 4 weeks ago. What happened last week? Sekiro dropped all the way from 1st to 3rd, and the Division, who was number 2 behind Sekiro, stayed at number 2 while Sekiro lost a spot. So as you see, not many more people are buying this game. Once the people who initially wanted this game bought it, they pretty much stopped buying it. And that further cements the fact that it's the Destiny 2 treatment. this game isn't bringing any new players. The elitism that occurs in that game is the same elitism here. Most gamers who play Bloodborne, Sekiro, it's like there's some sort of rites of passage to where if you can't play this game, then you're not a true gamer. You're just bad. It's just these people who want to feel special, who feels that if they can claim that they beat this game, then all of a sudden it holds them to a higher standard and people should respect them because you were able to beat an AI that you spent hours on. I hate to tell you this, dude, this might really hurt your feelings, but this isn't iRobot starring Will Smith. And it's even worse because the director of these games came out and said that he wanted his games to be hard. He didn't want them to be inclusive. And what's funny, being inclusive isn't about being politically correct. The word inclusive has come to have this bubble around it that when you use it, it means about having everybody in the game, letting everyone be able to be a part of whatever you're doing. It's not about being politically correct. It's about having a welcoming environment, realizing that anyone anywhere should be able to enjoy what you're doing. It's a form of art, and yet you don't want to be inclusive to it. Does a movie director say, hey guy, you want to watch my movie? Too bad. We're not talking about Brie Larson. She's probably the equivalent to the FromSoftware fans in the movie industry. She was like, I don't want white dudes watching my movies. That's cool. You're essentially the FromSoftware fans right there. The FromSoftware fans is like, we don't want noobs on our game. No easy mode. We wanna feel challenged. We want our games. It's like, really? How does it affect you in your life if there's an easy mode? You don't have to play it. It's like matchmaking in video games. You don't have to use it, Destiny fanboys, but you just want to have that elitist mentality that only the best of the best can do it. But getting back to the point, the movie director of any movie will not tell you that they don't want you to see their movie. No, they want you to go watch their movie. A music artist doesn't say, hey, no, dude, girl, I don't want you listening to my music because my music is made specifically for these types of people. Why? Because these people are true artists. They want their form of art to be experienced by everyone. Then you can even take the true artist, like painters and whatnot. Do they ever make a painting and tell this person, you're not allowed to look at it? Sorry. When it comes to that, some people may not understand it. Some people might look at a work of art and be like, there's nothing there, while someone else might be able to see something. But the point is, if you have eyes, they want you to see it. A music artist, if you have ears, they want you to hear it. Even then, you can see so many videos of people doing sign language because it's about the lyrics written. Movie directors want you to see their movie. They encourage it. But when it comes to FromSoftware, they don't want you to play their game. They only want a specific amount of people to play their game. And I hope you realize that your numbers on that are showing because you didn't bring in any new players. I'm going to finish this with that. There's so many games out there that can be challenging. I'm reminded of the wingsuit courses in Just Cause 3. If you played that game and you 100%ed it, you will know that there is about 3 or 4 wingsuit courses that take so much time to get good at doing. There are so many things that can go wrong with the wingsuit courses, and you have to focus 100% on what you're doing. I remember I specifically spent about 2 or 3 hours on one wingsuit course because it was so challenging. But the difference between those and other games in Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Sekiro, you don't have a chance to get better at the game you're playing because each time you die so quickly that it's a matter of you just didn't time it right. All it comes down to is timing. Whereas in the wingsuit courses, you get farther and farther and you know this area right here is coming up. So you're going to try to go up a little bit farther this time. Well, that didn't work. So you're going to go try to go up a little bit farther and you realize, no, going up doesn't work. So I need to go back a little bit. And when I hit this corner, I need to start slowing down here. And that's exactly how it was with the wingsuit courses. You had to actually plan out your moves before you do them, and it became trial and error. People argue so much about the repetition of Call of Duty, the repetition of games like Madden, but through each iteration of these games, all that's changed is the name. Sure, it has a few cosmetic changes here, but essentially you look at some of the bosses, they are literally the same. They require the same mechanics. Do those fans of those games complain though? No, because like I said, they have this mentality that if they beat it, since they're good at this game, all of a sudden it puts them on a higher branch. than everyone below them. I mean, sure, this guy's good at Mortal Kombat and could probably kick your ass, but no, you're better than him because you beat Sekiro. Never mind that this guy on Madden is in the top 100 and he could embarrass you in a 130-0 match online. Nope, but because you beat Sekiro, you're better than him. Never mind that this Call of Duty player could literally kill you 10 out of 10 times without you as so much touching him and damage wise. But no, yet again, you're better than him. You're telling him to get good. You're telling that Madden player to get good. But what it comes down to with those players is that they tell you to get good. No matter what, without fail, every single time. If I wanted to take the time to sit down and get better, that's all it takes. Sitting down, playing the game, playing for hours, beating it. There's no rhyme or reason to not succeeding at a video game. People come out with the name Soulsborne. Why? How many other games do you know that will have a Soulsborne type game? You don't hear Halo. It's like Halo and Destiny are two completely different games. There's no other games in existence that I can think of off of the top of my head to where people take the name and put them together. And when you can do that in a video game, you know that the differences between those two video games are so minute that it might as well just be a DLC of the game. But this video has been going on long enough. I just wanted to make this video, give my opinion, how I feel, how I view those people who want to gatekeep a video game because they want to feel rewarded. They want to feel like they're special because they can beat some AI in a video game. When in reality, dude, I'm telling you, you're not special because anyone, anywhere, give anyone enough time at any video game, they'll beat it. So when you tell people to get good, all you're doing is showing that you are very sensitive and you have a very thin skin. You're not better at video games because you can beat one specific one. You might be better at them at the Soulsborne games, but at the same time, they could knock you down in any shooting match on an online shooter. They could outrace you on any racing game. They could outthink you on a turn-based game. You're not good because you can beat one specific video game. I'm thinking of Darksiders. Darksiders is essentially Bloodborne-esque, Sekiro-esque. The only difference is you actually have fairness in your health. You can demolish bosses if you have the right setup. Those are fun games. Unfun games are unfair games. And that's what any FromSoftware is. An unfair, unfun game.